Okay, people, I'm back. Tales from the Pen, part 2 to the Darryl, Hommo, Baum story. If you missed part 1, you got to go back and watch it. Check it out. It's very interesting. It's about my interactions with Mike Tyson's ex-bodyguard, and about my interactions with according to 50 Cent, his shooter, the person who shot him 9 times. This is my personal, I was talking about in part 1, my personal interaction with him, because we were together in the penitentiary. At one point we were in the same house. He was my neighbor. He literally slept 3 feet from me, separated by a divider. So I got to know him a little bit, talk to him and things like that. So part 2 is about when he went home. Okay? And I'm going to tell you guys a little story. Now, what I'm going to say is according to federal government. What I have to say was testified to in court by co-defendants and rats on the case. Okay? So the first set of circumstances happened in, I think, 2003, 2004, 2003. A kid named, we're going to just change, nah, we're not. His name was Taz. Taz got knocked with 8 bricks. Okay? Him and another dude. I think his name was Baum. Now Taz went on to tell the government because, again, he was in a bind. He was in a pinch. So Taz went on to tell the government a story. A story about a crew and rivaling crews in Brooklyn. A story about a set of PJs out in the projects called LG, Lafayette Gardens. Alright? Now, the government had been after a certain crew from Lafayette Gardens, okay? We're not going to get into all that. I'm just going to use certain names. I'm just going to use letters for certain names. I feel that's better. I actually made this video like 3 different times. And I just didn't like, how it was portrayed and certain things I said, so I changed it. Alright? But the rats' names I'm not going to change. Right? I think that, it is what it is. So Taz begins to tell the government about mayhem, about drugs, and about murder from these particular area in Bed-Stuy. In Brooklyn, they call it Bed-Stuy, do or die, right? For all you non-New Yorkers, that's what Bed-Stuy. Bed-Stuy is a section of Brooklyn, and it's known as Bed-Stuy, do or die. It's the way it is. Certain places have certain names. Brownsville, never ran, never will. You know what I mean? Like, these are certain areas in Brooklyn, and they have their own little thing. So, Bed-Stuy, do or die. So Taz begins to tell him a story. And he tells him a story about 2 different crews. One headed by, we're going to use P. Okay? P had a bunch of people with him. And the other faction is the one that the government really wants, is headed by D. Okay? So we have P and we have D. Alright? Now, around 1995-96, Hommo went home. Mike Tyson's bodyguard. He got with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson put him on as a bodyguard, right? And so Hommo started working with Tyson. Tyson gave Hommo the keys to his mansion in Connecticut. And Hommo was living in Mike Tyson's mansion. Living it up. Doing big things on the payroll with Mike, right? Salute to Mike. Love Mike. So he put Hommo on. Hommo was living in this house in Connecticut. Okay? So Hommo, as I said, was also the one fingered for the shooting 50 Cent 9 times. Okay? In the year 2000. Okay? 50 Cent, as you guys know, been shot all over, shot in his face, shot 9 times, supposedly by Hommo. Now, these are 50 Cent words, right? It's 50 Cent words in many men. Hommo shot me, and 3 weeks later he got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason, because he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing. 50 Cent words. So Hommo was fingered as the shooter in 50 Cent's attempt on his life. You want to know the irony here? Check this out, people. A lot of people don't know this. So 50 Cent ended up buying said mansion out there in Connecticut. 50 Cent bought the mansion from Mike Tyson. So 50 Cent was walking around in the house, maybe even sleeping in the room of the person who tried to assassinate him. 50 Cent was sleeping in the same room where the person who had shot and hit him 9 times had previously slept in. Ooh. That's crazy, right? I know a lot of people didn't know that. Some do, but this is for the people who didn't know that. You see, 50 Cent was he's well versed in the 48 laws of power. He's well versed with Sun Tzu, Art of War. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, that was a calculated move. You know what I mean? And he did that on purpose. I don't know. Well, whatever. Maybe he just liked the mansion, but I just find it weird. So anyway, so now in these 2 rival gangs, supposedly, according to Taz, see, Taz was just one of the rats. There was a few of them. Thor, there's a couple of them, and this is all according to the court documents. This is all according to federal papers. And now I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm just saying this is what these gentlemen were convicted for, and so this is actual documents. So of the 2 crews, now P had his crew, D had his crew. Now supposedly D was dating also. Little Kim got involved in this too because she was dating D. Okay. Now, Little Kim is pretty thorough. Little Kim is from Brooklyn. She's from the streets of Brooklyn. She grew up around some real thoroughbreds, and little Kim is about as real as it gets as far as the streets go with females. That's a fact. As proven when the feds actually called her in for this case and asked her about her boyfriend, D, who is the leader of this murderous crew, supposedly. She said, I don't know nothing about that. Never seen that life, don't know anything about his crew, and I never seen him sell drugs. That's according to federal papers. Little Kim, thorough. She also held it down when she actually perjured herself, right? And she was threatened with a year in jail, and she wouldn't tell, and she ended up doing a year in jail for not telling. So, this is for the people who are outside. Little Kim is real. I don't know about the rest of these females. I'm just saying I can speak for her. Plus, I know several dudes that, have had interaction with her who know her personally. My man Alex, LG, he's upstate. His name is Malik now. He's got like 38 years. My boy Sean, out there in Brooklyn. Seen him recently. He's doing good. That's, good friend of mine since we're like 16, 17. And another friend of mine, Bezo. They will all knew her well, and I know them well, so, they all vouch for her. So Little Kim is good with me, man. But anyway, so apparently D was in jail, and apparently P's nephew killed D's brother. So D's brother got murdered on Lafayette in LG by P's nephew. Okay? P's nephew went on the run. He got knocked in North Carolina, brought back, and they gave him 28 years. Okay? So when D found out in jail that his brother just got murdered, supposedly according to Raz and the rest of the Taz, the rest of the rats, he sent word that, to get those guys, to get P and his crew. So 3 days after his brother was murdered, on orders from D, somebody went into the same vestibule, the same you know, it was like 456 Lafayette. The same hallway where D's brother was murdered 3 days later, they caught one of P's people. K, we're just gonna call him K. And they killed him right in the same vegetable. So it was eye for an eye. These guys were going back and forth according to Raz. Okay. That was in June of 99. In August of 99, another one of P's crew was murdered in a seafood spot on Saratoga. Okay? In Brooklyn. Alright? Supposedly now it's all out war because D's mad, D's in jail, his brother got murdered. It's on now. So, the thing about Hommo was that Hommo caught a violation in 1999. Okay? He was in jail. He went back upstate, and he went upstate from March of 99 to December of 99, and then he came home. So when all that little killing and stuff was going on, Hommo wasn't even around. But according to Raz and the rest, Taz and the rest of the rats, Hommo came home and started trying to extort people. Hommo came home and started putting pressure on these crew, trying to extort them, laying his game down. Also was telling them, according to Taz, also telling them that they couldn't sell drugs, that they had to sell for him. Right? And Hommo was down with P. P and Hommo were really close. P actually, here's another ironic thing about this whole thing, right? I already told you, Little Kim was apparently D's boyfriend over here, okay? In 1995, if you look at the Get Money video with Little Kim and Biggie, you know, wanna sit more on my living room floor, play Nintendo with C's and D note, you know what I'm talking about? Get Money. So if you watch the video and you see Kim, when she's rhyming, she's rhyming to somebody who's sitting in like a barber's chair. He's just sitting there, and she's just walking around him rhyming. That's P. Just for the record. So y'all go back and watch the Get Money video. I actually had pictures and stuff. This is why I was saying I had to do this video over. I actually had pictures and stuff, but I was saying, you know, YouTube with their copyrights and things like that, like they strike you for anything. So I didn't want to post pictures of the video and then YouTube say I can't use it. You know what I mean? So that's why I say I've had to do this video several times, you know, and you know, think it out a little bit. You know what I mean? So I can't show you, but if you go watch the Get Money video, that's P sitting in that chair. Okay, and that she's rhyming to in that video. So it's weird, you know, because they all grew up together. All these people grew up together. They was just getting money in separate terms. You know what I mean? So again, salute to Little Kim. Very thorough. Anyway, so now Hommo was down with P. You know what I mean? Trying to put pressure on these dudes over here. Okay, that's a fact. So summer of 2000, like right after 50 got shot, a couple weeks later, Hommo was supposedly, again, this is according to court papers, and people know, Hommo was lured to Marcy and Quincy Ave. For those, again, who ain't from New York, you remember the Jay-Z song, From Marcy, Son? Ain't nothing nice? Marcy Ave, Marcy Projects is near there. It's, you know, so he was killed on Marcy and Quincy at like 1:40 in the morning, supposedly, again, lured there by a girl. And, you know, he was murdered. He was murdered. You know, supposedly one of the dudes was E, right? We'll just say E. We ain't gonna go on all that. And Hommo was supposedly shot in the head. Some people have said that, you know, again, he knew him. So when they say, yo, and he peeked his head in the window like, hey, what's up? Boom, they shot his head off. This is, you know, what they were saying. You know, supposedly Hommo, and there's a saying, we all know it, you live by the gun, you die by the gun, right? Supposedly this is what it was. So this crew here and this crew here, again, they're still taking each other out according to Taz, the rat. And they're all killing each other. In fact, P was also murdered. P came out of a club. About 6 months earlier, they tried to get him too. They hit him, but they didn't kill him. He came out of a club in Manhattan on Spring Street, Spring and Hudson, about 4 in the morning. And the same dude, E, supposedly, according to Taz, and Thor, and the rest of the rats, the same dude, E, killed P. Ran up on him with the 40 and hit him. The thing is, that one made the news because when he got hit, his foot hit the accelerator and he took off. And as he was dying in his car, he hit a Swedish filmmaker and killed him in the car. So two people died in that one incident. All these people killing each other. All these people, for nothing. But anyway, so now, here's where the story, now supposedly, again, according to federal documents, after Hommo got killed, Tyson had a fight a few weeks later. He fought Lou Savarese. He won in, I think, 53 seconds or 93, something like that. Like, in like less than a minute and a half. Something like 90 seconds, maybe 50, somewhere around there. And after the fight, as I said in part 1, he got on the mic and said, I did this with a heavy heart. I had to bury my best friend, Darryl Baum. That's Hommo. That's what he was talking about. And again, according to federal papers, they were investigating Mike Tyson for putting a hit out on D and his boys. 50,000. Mike put up 50, somebody else put up 50, supposedly, according to testimony in federal trial. They said that Mike was mad. Obviously, his boy got murdered, Hommo, and wanted revenge on these guys, supposedly. Mike was never charged. That's great. And they never really had proof. This was just testimony of some of the rats. It was actually never confirmed, but that was the rumors. You can Google that. So in response to Mike putting a hit out on them, they heard about it. D and his boys put a hit out on Mike. And the crazy part about it is that the hit team had the drop on him one night. They saw Mike by the Atlantic Avenue shelter. Right? That's the same spot, actually. That spot is getting kind of famous. That spot is the same spot where Tekashi 6ix9ine, where the dude supposedly kidnapped him, beat him up, took his chain and did all that. Robbed him, threw him in the backseat of their car, ripped him out of his. Right there, Atlantic and Bedford. There's a shelter right there. And supposedly these guys saw Mike Tyson. And these guys had the drop on Mike Tyson. But supposedly the dudes that was actually going to do the hit were Muslim. And Tyson was Muslim too. So supposedly they spared Mike. They followed him for a little while and decided that Mike is a Muslim brother like them and they can't do it. But supposedly they had the drop on Mike and Mike was almost assassinated. Just saying. Letting you guys in on a little info. So that was a little back and forth there, So eventually all these dudes got taken down because, like I said, in 2003, when Kid Taz got caught with all the coke, with the 8 bricks, couldn't handle that. The thing is that a lot of people say Taz wasn't even down with D and them. That Taz maybe have made up the story. Because apparently Taz's father was murdered. And supposedly, according to federal court documents, Hommo had something to do with that. This is what they say. So Taz had every reason to make up lies. And Taz has every reason that when 3 years later, when Hommo's brother came looking for maybe looking for revenge for Hommo, them dudes found out and they caught him too. And they caught T at a construction site and murdered him too, Hommo's brother. They was just killing everybody involved. I ask you all, for what? Because I told this tale that the federal government has spoke of. I told this tale that the rats have come forward with. And I asked for what? Because everybody in this story is either dead or they're in prison for life. Some of the dudes are in prisons where they're never even gonna have like human contact. They're like in jails that's like under the jail. They're like under the jails. Like you're never gonna see human contact, never. And I would love to ask them, was it worth it? Was it worth it? You know, supposedly Hommo lived a certain life and he was gunned down in the streets. You know, living a life of a gangster is only good for a little while. That's it. Now all these guys became street legends. But you know one thing I have noticed about street legends, all street legends have pain in their past. All street legends have been through wars to get that status. But I ask, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And the tale I just told about LG, Lafayette Gardens, goes on everywhere. People fighting for blocks that's not even theirs. Fighting for a street corner that when you're gone, is still gonna be there. Still gonna be kids playing in the basketball courts. There's still gonna be kids on the swing. People fighting for parks and places that are not theirs. They belong to the city and state that you live in. All that gangster shit don't mean nothing. That gangster stuff, as I've been preaching for over a year now with this channel, leads you to death or jail. There's no in between, pass or fail, heads or tails. It's the only places it leads to. And then your family's left here to suffer. Because let me tell you, man, all you youngsters in the streets, all your homies gonna do when they find you murdered on the corner, all they're gonna do is wear a t-shirt. Rest in peace. It might be their favorite t-shirt for a few weeks. Life goes on. That's why you gotta be productive in life. That's why you gotta do something. That's why you gotta give back in life. You got to be positive in life. You got to make the right choices in life. You guys know I speak about choices and there's consequences for those choices. There's consequences for that lifestyle that you live. They get a bunch of you know, you do a crime with a few people, guess what? At least if you're doing it with 4, at least 2 or 3 of them are going to tell. They're not going to understand what it means to, you know, people talk all that death before dishonor bullshit. That's until they get you in the room and they start talking football numbers. Football numbers. When they start throwing 30, 40, 50 years at you. Yet you was just on Instagram flossing your money. You was just on Instagram pulling that 40 out. Talking gangster shit. But when they show you that, Instagram, and they show you how they got, you know, you in their tangled web, guess what happens? They start talking. Some people don't even wait for that. Some people talk for a chicken sandwich. Are you hungry? Yeah, I could use a chicken sandwich. It's great. Yeah. We'll be right back. You're gonna talk to us, right? Okay. And we brought you fries too. Fucking suckers. Too many people don't understand that when they get you in the room, They don't understand to say, you know what, I want an attorney, we gonna end this interview. People talk that shit, but it's never the case. That's why people testify, that's why there's so many rats. It's a fact. You have gangster killers who is testifying to everything I just spoke about. And the thing is, I know more and I know deeper shit, but we just gonna keep it like that in that square box for you. That's what we gonna do. Hommo was you know, a real street Brooklyn dude. Anybody from Brooklyn, anybody that was somebody, know who he is. You know, the young generation, they don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's been dead 20 years now. Wow. Time goes by so fast. But his legacy lives on. But it's just that, his legacy. It's not him raising his family. It's not him at reunions. It's not him raising his kids, man. And that's tough. And that's the point I'm trying to get across to everybody. That gangster shit don't mean nothing, man. That gangster shit just means, you know, great. You know, you'll be on YouTube, spoke about. You'll be in a Don Diva. That's it. That's what it's gonna be. And if that's what you want your life to be, then continue on, you know, doing what you're doing if you live in a negative lifestyle. Because that knock is right around the corner, trust me. And I'm gonna conclude part 2 on that note. Let me know what you guys think. Leave the comments down here. Let me know if you want me to continue with the Street Legend series. You know what I mean? Because I have a lot of them. You know, I pretty much know everything about the whole, you know, everything that happened in New York. You know what I mean? As far as stuff that's documented and stuff, you know what I mean? Not stuff that's made up. So let me know if you want me to continue. Maybe, you know, maybe leave in the comments somebody maybe you want me to talk about. I'll see if I know who they are. You know, and we go from there. Let me know what you guys think. Now remember, again, people, please go down, hit subscribe, and next to the subscribe button, there's a bell. Click the bell and click all. If you don't click all, you will never know when I'm on. You'll never know when I drop a video. You'll never know when I'm on live. So click subscribe, and again, there's a little bell next to the subscribe. Look at it. Click it and click all, and you will get every notification. Please do that, people. You guys know my motto. Experience is the greatest teacher. But somebody else's experience could be just as valuable if you pay attention and listen. And on that note, Fred White, signing off.